Welcome to our Take Your Life Back series. This is session number 4 on the responsive life. It's the final session. Woohoo! You made it. And I really hope you're glad that you did. During this session, I want to spend some time looking at the responsive life. The life that is not reacting to others or some wound from the past. Instead, it's a life that is free to respond to God and free to respond to others in a healthy, godly manner. You know, once we stop living in the false self and reacting to every negative development and take our lives back, that's when life in a fallen world, well, it's not easy, but it becomes full of purpose, meaning, love, and redemptive relationships. What a responsive life is, well, it's a freedom to choose. You're not letting anybody make choices for you. You're not constrained. You know that you can be the decider in your life. You know, it's freedom to have compassion for other people. You really do love folks, and you love what you can do to help them no matter what they're going through. And you have a freedom to see below the surface. You're not just looking at what people do, but you're really asking what's leading them to do that, because you want to help them with it. And you're free not to make everything in this world that happens personal. You realize that people have other problems, and that many times what they're saying to you has nothing to do with you. It has something to do with something that might have happened a long time ago. And here is what a responsive life looks like. It's searching for the best. You're not just willing to settle for anything. You're looking for what it is that God has for you. You're connecting in redemptive relationships. You're not looking just to be attached to anything. You want a relationship that is redemptive, that you can restore when it's broken, a relationship that is mutually giving to each other. You know, when you have a responsive life, you're belonging in healthy groups. You have a place at the table. You're not looking to just spend time in any way. You belong in healthy places. And you take the time to reflect on your daily life. It's not just passing you by, but you have this willingness and ability and desire to reflect on what has happened and where you're headed. And a responsive life, you're building a strong future. Things are getting better, more stable, and you're building your character so that the future is going to be much, much different than if you hadn't taken your life back. And then you're integrating into a whole and healthy person. You're not split off. You don't have parts of you that don't work, or a really great part over here, but here's this little secret world that nobody knows about. It's all integrated together. And you're reaching out to fellow strugglers. You want to share what you've been through, and you want to lead them to the same path of victory and hope and fulfillment. And you're persevering in tough times. You don't give up. You know that those that persevere receive the crown of life, and you just hang in there. In fact, you know that sometimes all God expects is that you just don't give up. And then the responsive life protects the spiritual gains that you've made. You don't just let anything happen to you. You have boundaries. You have definite areas that you protect because you've worked hard to build them so that they're there and strong and working for you in relation with others and with God. So there it is. That's what it's like when you have a responsive life and you're managing the realities, fully living in the present, and possessed and controlled by nothing or no one but yourself and your God. You know, the old way was leading you to greater difficulties, heavier burdens, deeper despair, and less hope. But now you're on a path full of wonder and meaning and blessings so plentiful that you can't even imagine all that's possible. As you look over the list of things that are found in a responsive life, perhaps you could identify and share with the group one or two that you've determined need a little bit of work in your life. Or perhaps you could share with the group what the other areas are where you plan to do some real work, address them, grow, and benefit from that part of a responsive life. I hope that this final time of talking about and taking your life back will be the best time of sharing of all. Over the years, I've had the privilege to witness many people, literally thousands of lives completely transformed, lives taken back and lived under the will and in the will of God in the presence of redemptive relationships. What I've been astounded to see is how God takes the worst things of life and turns them into the best parts of life. I've seen drug addicts who survived an overdose. They recover, and they end up leading thousands of others down the same path of recovery. I've witnessed people so heavy that they could not walk, finally walk down a path that led them to help others lose the weight and keep it off. And I've seen men addicted to porn and separated from their lives in every way possible become some of the most kind and caring, loving husbands that no one thought was possible. And I've seen women who've been hurt by these men. I've seen them heal and grow and help other women do the same. I don't know where your path will lead you, but if you take your life back and you surrender it to God, the possibilities are limitless. Thanks for joining me on this Take Your Life Back journey. Now, if you want to go deeper or you feel the need for additional help, there's a weekend called Take Your Life Back. It's an intensive that we do, and you can find out about it at newlife.com. I hope this isn't the end of your journey, that this is just the beginning. And our church has so many great resources to sustain the changes that you've made throughout the series or to even go deeper in your journey. Whether your issue is divorce recovery or sexual integrity or being related to someone with sexual integrity problems, there are issues and groups for grief, abuse, addictions, emotional health. We've got a resource, and you can find out about that resource simply by going to northviewchurch.us. Blessings to you, and I look forward to seeing you in church.